Pretty Potato Sack returns. I found out recently that if I say the word subscribe, the little button will light up if you haven't subscribed yet. So, subscribe! Congratulations, you're trapped. You are now one with the sleepover. Speaking of terrifying fates, welcome to Spooky Storytime. And as always, greetings weary travelers and fellow story gremlins, including all the new ones that are recently captured. Boy, I'm really selling myself, aren't I? Welcome back, or welcome to the Reaction Sleepover. This is where we react... Whoa. This is the series where we get cozy and we react to stuff. Jeez. So, be sure to grab your cozies and snackies, get extra cozy to protect yourself from the demons. There's totally not anyone behind you. It's me! I am all over the place today. Let's get into it. This is by Just Rose is Fine. Hi, Just Rose is Fine. The title is Alien Spotlights in the Dead of Night. Ooh! Please, take me from my dying planet. I want a cannonball into a black hole. My family would regularly stay at my grandparents' place growing up. Oh, it's always the grandparents' place, isn't it? They live in the countryside, near a lot of cornfields and farms. Again, of course, children of the corn out here. Their house is surrounded by woods, and beyond the woods, behind the house, is a wide open field of crops the neighbors maintain. No surprise there would be some I'm being possessed. Goodbye. No surprise there would be some extraterrestrial shenanigans at some point, right? That's such a good phrase. Extraterrestrial shenanigans. Shenanigans. I was about to say it 10 times fast. I can't even say it once. My brother and I had to share the bunk beds for our stay. I was on the bottom bunk with a full view of the window that faced the front yard. My grandparents' window blinds suck and don't close all the way, and they don't have any curtains, so I could fully see outside the whole night. And it could fully see you. My brother and I were up late joking and talking when we first saw this bright light outside. Grandpa, why are you on the tractor again? Go to bed. He's like, it's farming time. It moved across the front yard and flashed into our window for a split second. At first we thought it could just be a flashlight, so we got up to look out the window to see if we could maybe spot the neighbors that live across the street. Because that would totally be less weird than aliens. Your neighbor just taking a stroll, flashing their flashlight into your window. Totally. Oh, you know, country living. The source of the light was coming from up high. Jesus? Shining a spotlight down and lighting up the whole yard. And this light was bright. It lit up the entire yard, and their front yard is huge. My bro and I began to assume it was a drone. At the time, drones were starting to become very popular. They were all over TV commercials and on everyone's holiday wish list. So why not assume that's all it was? We looked up to where the source of light was to see if we could spot it. But as soon as we laid our eyes on it, it quite literally zipped away. Oh! And the way it moved was too fast and dynamic for a drone. And drones are known for making some kind of buzzing noises when they fly. This thing was silent. Ew! Ew! I like how that's my response to spooky things. It's just, ew! It flew straight upwards towards the sky then, faster than anything I'd seen. Dashed sideways, the beam of light still shining down the whole time. In the blink of an eye, it was gone. I feel like I don't snap good. ASMR. POV, you're at poetry night. I still feel uneasy thinking about it. What was it searching for? You! Those stories are fascinating. Anytime you hear anything about, like, especially the cornfields, you see the... What are they called? They're called, those patterns you see in the fields? What are those called? I cannot remember. And the aliens got to me. They're sucking memory from my brain. Yeah, like those designs or just like other things like that. It's so fascinating. And now we're going to read a 2-sentence horror story. There was one Redditor that I reached out to and I was asking permission to read 2-sentence horror stories, and they said that I could read more, so I reached out again and I got a few more from them, so thank you. And this is only a couple of them. I'm going to read more in the part 2 as well. I woke up to find my hands covered in blood. Wonderful start. Realizing with terror that something was tunneling just beneath the surface of my skin. Them's the ticks. The more I clawed at my flesh, the more the relentless, squirming invaders spread throughout my body. Hey, Macarena. Woohoo! That's a good one. That's literally just a story of ticks. Thanks, I hate it. Now, on to Season Sector! I really like this title. I have witnessed the spookies. Can I have a cookie? So I didn't know whether to do one. Oh! I forgot to say, if you have any stories, submit to my email or in the links below. Give me more spooky stories, or any story. I'll take anything. I'm greedy. So I didn't know whether to do one or all my accounts of the spookies, so here it goes. This first story was around 2003-2004 in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Hey, my husband grew up in Arizona. It's hot. It'd be cool to go there. I've never been there. and then promptly turn into a raisin. I'm a Washingtonian. I wouldn't survive there. I'm telling some of the cities because I don't live there anymore. And it was nighttime. There were storm clouds in the sky, but nothing so far was out of the blue until like 5 minutes later, there was a green ball of light coming from the direction of the lake. What are you doing in my swamp? Plot twist, it's just Shrek. What have you done? You know the sacred laws of the swamp. It stopped, hovered for a bit, and did a straight 90-degree upward into the sky. What are you? I don't know why, but I just pictured that it was just like a ball of slime, basically. But for some reason, it also emanates light. You just hear it go. Yeah, you totally needed that visual sound effect. You're welcome. But that went all when it disappeared into the clouds from my recollection. All the lightning just stopped. What? Is it Thor in goop form? Again, I don't know why I'm picturing it as like a ball of slime, but that's it. Yep. Wow, great commentary, Amanda. I was like between 5 and 7, and normally this would be considered a kid's imagination. If it weren't for the fact that all the adults were there, saw the same thing, and bring it up without me mentioning it. I'm not crazy. You're like, don't pretend you didn't see it. I saw you. Next one was around 2012 to 2014. And 4 of these stories take place in New Mexico. So the first one, it was around 12 a.m. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you were just tired and hallucinated it. But this was back when I had the angsty teen energy. It's so real. That didn't need any sleep. Anyway, I'm watching a movie on the laptop, and for some reason I get the feeling to look towards my door. Why would you listen to it? First mistake. And when I do, an indent forms on my bed. Ew. Like someone put their knee on it, and it was like that for a few seconds, and then the indent went back to normal. Ugh! Ugh! No. Get your knee off of my bed. This one was in Needles, California. Needles? It was like 2013, 2014, in the summertime. It was around 7 to 8 p.m. and I was at the shop I was technically working at, and I just started cooking dinner and decided to go outside for a bit, to wait for my dad to come back from work. And as I'm standing outside, I look towards the train tracks, and all of a sudden, my left eye shoots off to the left. Oh. I know you meant like it looks... I just pictured just... That's what that orb was. It was just your eyeball coming back. Papa, I've come home! Ew. And all of a sudden, my left eye shoots off to the left, and it feels like my eye's trying to drag the rest of my head to follow it to this tree. What? That belonged to the house next door. And when that happened, I went to look behind the tree and saw nothing. I said, nope, and went back inside. Aha! Good job being smart. Although still -1 because you went to investigate. That's how you die, silly goose. This story took place in 2013 in New Mexico in 2 separate classes. And it still freaks me out because there's still no clue as to what happened. That's the best kind. So I'm in math class working in some worksheet for a teacher that was good and actually tried to teach us. And all of a sudden during the school work, my eyes black out. Oh, that's awful. You were being possessed. But this time I see a ball of fire, and I blink and I'm being possessed again. Goodbye. And then I blink and my vision returns to normal. I still have no answers for it. Ball of fire. Saw the prophecy of Sauron.
Obviously.
Did you pull a Pippin and that orb you saw, you touched it, and then Sauron started talking to you? How many times do I have to tell you? You don't investigate. Next one was 2019-2020. Horrifying enough already. And it was dark out in the evening sun. Oh, that's a good, song title. The evening sun was starting to go down when suddenly I'm standing outside and I, for some reason, look between the telephone wires of the neighborhood restaurant. Why do you do this? Never be curious. That's how you stay alive. And I see some light flashing, like when you have light reflect off your phone screen. But what makes this one weird is it flashes 3 times and then zips off into the I don't know where, making a light trail? You're on trial, bucko! Making a light trail like when you see a shooting star. And now we have made it to the last story. What did you do now? This was last year, and I was doing a workout with the help of a workout video, and one of the exercises required us to lay on our backs. So while I'm in my back, I see this translucent amoeba floating inches from my face. What is with you and things floating in front of you? Just gliding along, and I am just like, what? But that was the last time I saw that one. Thank you. Are you saying thank you to me or that amoeba? Just thank you. It was floating by like Patrick in the SpongeBob movie. All right. 2-sentence horror story number 2. As Sarah seasoned the steak, the flesh began to writhe and crawl. Oh, slowly knitting itself into a grotesque face with eyes that stared right into her soul. Oh! Paralyzed with fear, she realized too late that what she thought was a harmless ingredient was bringing the dead back to life. What was the season? What was the seasoning so that I may never use it? Ew, that's a good one. And then this last submission contains 3. Thank you for the nightmares. Story number 1. Wind chimes. I like wind chimes. I don't think I'm gonna like them in this story though. I woke up in the middle of the night to see a lady in my room. Hello, madam. No, I do not want your daughter's Girl Scout cookies. Please go away. At first I thought it was sleep paralysis, but I was able to move. I sat up to watch her. Oh, that's sending shivers on my spine because it's like at least if it was sleep paralysis, like you know it is because you can't move, but in this you can move. She was tall, slender, and wore a long nightgown. Slenderman's bride, what are you doing here? Her skin was pale, her gray hair was down to her ankles and hid her face. She moved across my bedroom floor and stopped by my little bookshelf that I used to display all my fancy crystals and rocks. Ah, crystals girly! Pausing to admire the pretty stones before she looked up at the wind chime I had dangling from another shelf. I was going to try to just ignore it and go back to sleep. Assume I'm still dreaming and I'm hallucinating. But then she reached her hand up, touching the wind chime, and the wind chime actually began to jingle. No! Starts playing Never Gonna Give You Up. The AC wasn't running, the fan on my ceiling wasn't spinning, and my window was closed. Huzzah. Thanks, I hate it, but I love it. Just want to come look at your pretty rocks. Story number 2. Dad? Oh, I do not like the tone of this. Growing up, my parents would often check on us kids to make sure we weren't up as school night playing video games. I had awoken to the sound of my door. I had awoken to the sound of my door creaking open, so I rolled over to look. My dad, no, that's not Dad, peeked his head in the doorway and stood for the shivers going down my spine at this exact moment. Ooh, peeked his head in the doorway and stood for a few seconds, staring in my direction. I called out, Dad? No response. Begone, Satan! I sat up. Dad. Still nothing. He slowly shut the door and left. Ew! Ew! Oh, I'm just picturing like, you just see like the silhouette, right? And then you see 2 little dots for the eyes. Dude, these are giving me shivers. These are freaking me out. I didn't wait a single second to get out of bed. I thought he was acting strange. I opened the door and looked into the hallway, but he was nowhere to be seen. He couldn't have walked away that fast. I walked down the hall and into the living room. Still didn't see him. I didn't hear his bedroom door open or close either. I quietly opened my parents' door to see if he was awake. Both my parents were fast asleep, snoring. I don't know what that was, but whatever had come to check on me was not my dad. Cool. Love that. Love that for you. Maybe we can say he astral projected to come check on you? Maybe? Please? Story number 3. Caterpillar! Where is this going? What other reason am I not going to sleep tonight? Dude, I'll never forget. Sometimes I wonder if this was a dream or not, but I just remember when I was really, really young, I was playing outside or something, and then I looked like at the back of my house and there were caterpillars everywhere. It was like covered in caterpillars. What was going on? What kind of rave were they having? All right, I'll stop stalling. I awoke, laying on my back and staring at my ceiling. And it was covered in caterpillars. Okay. Something from the corner of my eye caught my attention. I turned my head to see what I can only describe as a black caterpillar covered with blank white faces. Interesting pattern, just perched above my window. It was huge, longer than the window and just riddled with white faces that randomly sat on different parts of its body. Its many legs looked like human arms? I'm sorry. Legs that look like human arms? Okay. And it was slowly crawling over the window. I will gladly accept abduction at this moment. It peered down at me with the frontmost face it had. I thought it was sleep paralysis again. Oh, of course not. But as it began to lean down towards me, I moved. I lifted my hand and pointed at it, and without thinking, I began to rebuke it. Begone, foul beast! You just start bullying it. Ew, look at all those faces. Just become a mean girl. That's what you do with sleep paralysis demons. Or anything else that freaks you out, just bully it. And as soon as I did, it vanished. Can't take the heat, huh? Ah, those were terrifying. Thank you. Or not. But yes. No, but really, thank you everyone who submitted stories or let me use them. Whew. Those were pretty terrifying. I shan't ever sleep again. If you got any spooky stories of your own, email me. Email me, or there's links in the description. Or of course, any other stories you may have that you wish to share that you think would be fun for me to read. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that, and I'm very excited for part 2. But anyway, yes, that is it. Thank you for joining the latest installment of Reaction Sleepover Spooky Stories. It'd be cool to make this like a recurring series because spooky stories are just so interesting to me. I really like reading them. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. If I'm gonna have nightmares, I'm gonna take you all down with me. Must wet the whistle. But yes, we continue the spooky season stories. Ooh, alliteration. So be sure to grab your extra cozies and your snackies and let's head on into it. Also, I want to do the thing again. Subscribe! I think it's fun that the button lights up. Let's warm up with a short one. Hearing my girlfriend's voice at 4 a.m. while she was gone. Wonderful. So to preface this, I still do not believe in any kind of paranormal occurrences. Really? After that? I'd be on high guard at all times after that. I swear, I'm on like high guard every night anyway. I hear any little noise, I'm like freaking out. Does anyone else, like when you're going to the bathroom, you open the shower curtain every time because you want to make sure nothing's behind there? No? Are you normal? Oh, you must have more peaceful nights than I do. Nor do I have any history of schizophrenia. Okay, so I live with my girlfriend who is from the Netherlands. I'm American, and she decided to leave for 2 weeks to visit home as she always does. The airport she was flying out of was about 2 hours from our house. Ugh, how real that is. The classic, like, you have to leave like at least 4 hours before your flight. So I was looking at about 4 hours. Well, yeah, 2 + 2. It's not groundbreaking, Amanda. I got way too excited at that. So about a 4-hour drive, round trip. We left for the airport at about 12 a.m. Yay. And arrived shortly after 2 a.m. It's your fault. You went during the bewitching hour. Or isn't that like 3 a.m.? No wonder I'm extra spooked when I'm going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. No wonder I have to check behind the shower curtain. So we say our usual goodbyes and she heads in. Enters final destination. So here I am with another long drive ahead of me. To make a long story short, I got home a little after 4 and headed straight for bed as I was exhausted. Just going to the airport is exhausting enough. I usually always have to decompress on my phone before I feel the need to pass out. I mean, same. What I'm laughing at though is just like the idea he's just doing this until eventually he's just... Right now, I messed up my hair. Ooh, unless it's got a nice little fluff to it now. Gorgeous. So I'm doing exactly that when clear as day I hear, Bryce, I'll be there soon. In her accent and everything. Come to find you just forgot you were on the phone with her. I'll be there soon. You're like, who said that? The whole like, where's my phone? As you're scouring around. She's on FaceTime. She's like looking at you like, what? I'm right here. What are you freaked out about? Begone, foul demon. Babe, Babe, where'd the cross come from? In her accent and everything. So naturally, as one does, I immediately go bonkers and turn every light on in the house. Oh, that is so real. I am like... Again, I'm a huge wimp if I'm going into the bathroom in the middle of the night. Like, sometimes I'm brave and I just don't turn the light on, but usually I feel the need to. It's so dumb. I feel so stupid every time. You know what though? At least I'm prepared. Safe to say I got 0 sleep that night. I truthfully cannot explain what that was, and my girlfriend thought I was just messing with her. Excuse me as I get possessed, as I often do. But this is the one time I wish she believed me. What it probably was is you were just so tired. Like, I think I've experienced this before. Like, you are going to sleep and sometimes you just hear a voice. Does that happen to anyone else? That has happened to me, like, not very often, but sometimes. It's just my husband talking in his sleep, which he does, by the way. It's horrifying. But yeah, that whole, like, you're going to sleep. Kind of like that feeling of, like, oh, you suddenly feel like you're falling when you're going to sleep. Sometimes a voice just pops in. Still freaky, but you know. And interestingly, someone said, when I suffered bad from sleep paralysis, I would hear bangs. I know they mean bang, bang, but I just pictured the hair. What would bangs even sound like? Do it, do it. Post-breakup women cowering everywhere. That's what gets them to actually go through with it. They get so spooked by the ghost of the bangs. Could you imagine? You open your eyes and it's not even bangs on like a ghost. It's just the bangs floating there. I would hear bangs when dropping off or having auditory hallucinations on waking/dropping off, like voices /TV/radios/footsteps. I don't know what voice that was. Could be you entered REM when still slightly awake. But what's interesting is I got a little glimpse of the OP's statement. Statement? What am I, a news reporter? We are live with OP's statement. It could be possible, but as I mentioned in another comment, I was actually completely awake despite being physically tired. It's tough for me to get to sleep, so I usually sit on my phone for about 45 minutes or so before I feel the urge to pass out. Interesting. Again though, brains are weird thing. It's wild, wild west in there. As much as we know, it's like we know as much as we do about the ocean. Just so much more in there that we have no idea what's going on. Very spine tingling. Good one. Dude, even reading this title, did you encounter a skinwalker or was it something else? Every time I have that like shiver down my spine, my immediate reaction is just go I'll chest bump the ghost. Get out of here. This experience is one I never shared with anyone besides my brother. We are your brother now. When I was about 13 year. Are you older than that? Is it actually 1300 and you just forget how to speak modernly? I was living in rural BC. See? BC? You've actually been alive since 13 BC? One night I was in the hot tub on the deck outside just watching the woods, taking in the silence. It was wintertime and we just recently had a snowfall that left around knee height deep of snow. Hot tub? Bougie. It was around 2 to 3 a.m. and out of nowhere this very large wolf, bigger than one I've ever seen by far, came out of the woods. Hello. I remember its coat being a shimmering silver and its bright piercing green eyes. Ugh. Silver and green. What a combo. I remember one time we were driving and I saw something white and I was like, it's either a wolf or a goat. Maybe a sheep. Who knows? Imagine though, it's like, oh, I pass by quickly, I go, was that a wolf? And I look and it's just a sheep, just like, greetings. Maybe I encountered a skinwalker. As this wolf was walking along the fence of our paddocks, it locked eyes with mine, and we just kind of stared at each other as he walked past me. Oh, could you imagine? Because if it's dark, because it's at night, right? I guess they didn't say it was necessarily nighttime. Ah, middle of the night. There we go. Both alone in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. I can answer my own question so quickly if I just read the next sentence. Can you imagine in the middle of the night, you just see these two little green dots? I guess you can see the rest of them too, but like, ugh, just the two green eyes. Green? Because isn't it like wolves have, assuming this is an actual wolf, not a skinwalker, that it's more like yellow? Maybe it's like it was just a very specific kind of yellow that looks green. Who knows? Or it is a skinwalker and they messed up. We're on to you, buddy. In the middle of nowhere. Great. What happened next till this day instantly makes my spin shiver. So messed up, can't even properly spell spine. Or they literally mean spin, like spin shiver. Kind of like in cartoons when they get spooked and their head pops off and spins a bunch of times. As the wolf walked past, he walked towards our barn with our horses in it. Oh, don't you dare. It became darker as it entered the barn, but it was open? What are you doing? It became darker as it entered the barn, but the other side of the barn still had a bright light illuminating the outside that I could clearly see. This wolf, as it entered, halfway through, it went from the shape of a wolf, no, to a very large, broad-shouldered person. Excuse me. I'm gonna go cease to exist. I'm only reading this, and I just want to implode. I'm sorry. Shape-shifted? The horses didn't make a single sound. They're too shocked. I'd be too. And this person that now stood roughly 7 feet tall rounded the corner towards the open field, but didn't emerge from the other side. I never saw it again. This makes me want to crawl out of my skin. Joke's on you, I'm the shapeshifter. My brother had his own encounter with the same wolf, I'm guessing. It's the same guy. He told me he woke up randomly one night from the feeling of being watched. Jacob! It's not Bella! He then looked out his window to see a very large wolf walking away from his window, so I'm guessing it was watching him sleep. No, thank you. Jacob and Edward combined. They turn into a wolf, but they will watch you sleep. This place we lived at was an old native ground. Our barn was an old schoolhouse where the Catholic priest would put the native children and teach them lessons on Christ. And actually, this is a good moment to take a pause to actually say it was Indigenous Peoples Day yesterday at the time we're recording this. And November coming up is Native American Heritage Month, so I'm going to have links in the description to give some love and support, good vibes to individuals and organizations that help support Native Americans. They even had the old desk and chairs inside still. My brother and I both saw children's faces in the panes of glass from that barn and lights turning on randomly. We had closet doors slam repeatedly for minutes at a time, footsteps and feeling of being watched. In my room, I saw glowing red eyes on the ceiling, and I hid under my covers till morning. Anyway, my main subject of this post and what I'm more seeking answers for is what did I encounter outside in the middle of the night? A skinwalker, you said so yourself. After I looked around myself, the closest thing I could find was skinwalkers or wendigos. I see Wendigo and I just think of, what was the game called? It's on the tip of my tongue. Until Dawn. There it is. Those are freaky. This is just becoming Twilight. No wonder Jacob got confused. You were doing your research. Just like she was. But from I read, these creatures have deformed features of things that make them uncanny or straight up horrific. Yeah. What I saw, nothing struck me as abnormal about this wolf besides its massive size until it literally changed its entire form in front of me. I know this is a long-winded read. Sorry I'm not a great storyteller. You kidding me? You got me wanting to implode to escape the spook. And there's just so much that I experienced at this property that this just scratches the surface of everything. The wolf incident is just something I've never really been able to grasp and always wanted some kind of answer because it feels and sounds unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. I also understand the term skinwalker is Navajo lore and doesn't correlate with BC tribes, but this is just representation of what I saw with the closest accuracy. Interesting to know. I think something is haunting my home. Hope it's nice. Hope they make me ghost cookies and sing me to sleep at night. A few weeks ago, my dad left home to go to work in Mindanao. I was excited since he was going to bring gifts such as food and toys. A week or two later, perhaps in the afternoon, I heard a familiar voice. It was my dad, and my mom was talking to him. I sighed and focused on my iPad. The sass. A few minutes later, my dad knocked on the door. When I opened it, I saw him. He wore a gray shirt. Why am I mentioning this? This is important later. I don't like that. Me and Dad hugged each other? I'm sorry, hugged each other? Like you touchy? How? Isn't there like a specific kind of ghost where like if there's physical contact, it's like they're even more scary? I don't know, I'm pulling from Phasmophobia. I don't remember much about the conversation, but I remember him saying, "Tomorrow I'll show you something." How about not, Father? He was acting really weird, but he's a weird guy, so I didn't mind it. Oh, that's so funny. This ghost studied your father. They're like, oh great, I don't have to be that not weird. I said, that's so weird. Maybe I'm the ghost. They already know that your dad is weird, so they didn't have to try that hard. The weirdness just can peek through and the uncanniness just fits the vibe, I guess. After that, I went to sleep. A few hours later, I woke up in the middle of the night. I was a bit dizzy, so I went to get a glass of water. Dizzy? Oh. Did you drink enough before you went to bed? Drink water. Now. I'll wait. Good. Stay hydrated, beans. Beans? Gremlins. Gremlin beans! When I checked my parents' room, I saw that only my mom is there. I asked, Ma, where's Dad? Did he leave? What? Your dad is still in Davao? Davao? Sorry, I don't know. Mom replied, my mispronunciation is ruining the vibe. I was freaking flabbergasted. If Dad was still in Davao, then who the frick did I hug? I'm still on the fact that you could hug them. I explained to my mom what happened, and I literally heard her talking to my dad, but she denied it. Yeah, she's feeling just as embarrassed. Unless there were two. The next morning, I talked to my mom about going to the mall. Mom was feeling unwell, so she said that Dad can let me go to SM when he comes back. That's when the memory of what happened last night flooded back. The nightmares. I told her what happened again, and she was as shocked as me. Was she like half asleep or something when you told her last night? Maybe she wasn't paying attention. Which, I mean, I'd pay attention real quick if someone was impersonating my husband. The audacity. Then she called my dad, explaining what I told him. I started freaking out when he said that he was wearing a gray shirt the day before. It was studying your dad, literally, because they noticed, oh, he's wearing a gray shirt. I will wear a gray shirt. Perfect. They'll never suspect a thing. The perfect plan. A few weeks later, I somewhat forgot about the experience. How? I'd forget that until I died, and then I would haunt them for vengeance. Imagine a ghost trying to haunt a ghost. That's kind of an adorable image. Mom walked up to me and asked if I went to their bedroom and opened the closet. I said no. I'm not weird. And she said she saw someone opening the closet. No. Who is this ghost? And why are they pranking you? She didn't mind it since she thought it was me, and obviously it wasn't. Great. Now you're both scarred for life. So now whenever you both are passed on, you can team up and take revenge. Start wearing gray shirts around them. You remember this? You jerk. It's like in SpongeBob. You know when Mr. Krabs tries to take a piece of paper that has like the shopping list on the back and he draws a ghost and he throws it into SpongeBob's window. That's what they start doing to that ghost. It's just a gray shirt. Ooh. That, yes, has a shopping list on the back because that's the only way you can remember to go to get what you're trying to shop for. You got to write it on your shirt, and then you have strangers read it off the back at you. Be like, hey, can you tell me what I'm missing? Is it the eggs? I stayed up all night, so my friend who was living with me didn't leave the room. I didn't leave either since I was too busy watching TikTok. Dad thinks someone is haunting this area. You don't say, Padre. I don't think the house is haunted since no one died in the house, plus my dad built it. My theory is that maybe this is the ghost. Encanto is toying with us. Encantos are deities or nature spirits that Filipinos used to worship and respect during the pre-colonial times. Although this theory could be easily disproven, perhaps just picturing, if it really is this Encanto, maybe it's dual since, they heard them talking to what they thought was their mom. They're both just impersonating the parents. They're just bored. Finally have some new people to mess with. The pranksters of the ghost world. Especially in the beginning when they're like, I'm going to show you something, and it's just a pie that they shove into your face. It's like, we don't need to be afraid of them. The only times we need to be afraid of them is what prank they're going to do next. But it's like the most harmless ones. Perhaps a gust of wind could have opened the closet. The only question I have is, who the F did I hug a few weeks ago? Because there's that. That's freaky. That's freaky. Imagine hugging, like, your dad, and it wasn't him. If it's not my father, then who is it? Plot twist, it's just his secret twin he's always had. That was a good one. That's horrifying. Oh my gosh. It's possible that someone might just be buried there. Or there used to be a house there and they just stuck around. Imagine the ghost. It's kind of like Men in Tights, where they roll the house away and he's just sitting there on the toilet. And the ghost is like, huh? Where's my house? No, since your dad built it, it's a rite of passage. They have to mess with him. Creepy experiences. Great. First off, I'm going to start off with some information about myself. I am an avid catfisher. Oh. I thought this verse was like, I love to catfish people. It's like, interesting to admit, but okay. No, I'm just dumb. Literally the next sentence. I love to fish at night when it's peaceful and quiet. Which again, you could take as like, I love to catfish people at night. No, they literally mean catfishing. I'm just stupid. And I tend to stay out extremely late on non-work nights. So that leads me to why I was here at this lake, experiencing what I did. I forget what day it was, but I was alone. Girlfriend at the time didn't want to come with, and I couldn't convince anyone to come with me. Fine, since no one loves me. So F it, I'll go by myself. Fine. You heathens. I grabbed my gear and my gun, fished for a few hours. Caught a few. While I was fishing, I kept hearing talking. Couldn't see anyone. They're like, look who came. Oh. Guess I'm still alone. Figured maybe they were just walking down the road. I play it no mind. Fast forward a few hours. This is a city lake, so it's decently lit up in most areas. Oh, that's kind of nice. I hear a whistle. Don't. Don't you dare. Whistling? That's like the most rude thing you can do. If it's like a spooky kind of setting, don't you dare whistle at me, you hooligan. I look around. I don't see or hear anything further. Resume fishing. Another whistle. Who was doing that? Reveal yourself! This time to my right. I'm thinking to myself, it's probably some kids, but this is an attention-seeking whistle. Oh no, like the, I can't whistle. That whistle. Like one that someone would do if they want your attention. Again, I see and hear nothing. I turn around, I see a cat, think nothing of it. It's the cat that's whistling. Surprise, it's the Cheshire Cat. I go back fishing, I hear another whistle. You're like, I hear it one more time. This time, behind me. There's my defense mechanism again. I'll turn around and chest bump you. Cat's gone. I reel in my lines. Catfish are pretty strong, so I don't want to lose a $200 pole. Yeah. I put my hand on my gun and I quietly walk around the building. Nothing. And I see and hear nothing. It should be impossible since there's gravel everywhere. I turn around and walk back, and directly behind me I hear a very loud and shrill whistle. Hello, Banshee! It's immediately giving me that vibe. Dude, reading that, just like reading the like, oh, this time behind me, stuff like that, like that made me like stop breathing for a second. Enough to make me flip around and draw my gun. My heart is pounding, so I grab my crap and I book it to my car. Fast forward a week later. So you survived that one. Last Friday or Saturday night. Friend and I go to the same place. I forget about the whistling. We go fishing, we have a decent time. Like, at least I'm not alone this time. As I look around, I kept noticing shadows in the trees along the lake. Almost like something was running near the lights and jumping around. What in the chimpanzee ghost? Is that what it is? Are they just chimpanzee ghosts? Some kind of monkey ghost? Monkeys do mess with you. That's my theory. This video's theme is just prankster ghosts. I don't think much of it. Really? You don't think much of it? Figured it was the night playing tricks on me. After the last experience? My friend who didn't tell me till later also observed the exact same thing. Come close to 3 a.m. and I hear some people chatting. I don't see anyone, which was odd. The lake is kind of a pit with roads all around, impossible not to see someone walking by. I'm kind of sketched, but I keep fishing. I read sketch and I just immediately like, as soon as someone feels scared, they just do a little sketch of them looking afraid. Around 3:15 a.m., I begin to hear birds tweeting. This is dead of night. I turn to my friend and I'm like, you hear the birds chirping? Kind of odd for 3 a.m. He looks around kind of paranoid. Ugh. 5 to 10 minutes later, he says, those aren't birds chirping. Someone is mimicking them. Gross! Ugh. Dude, OP, this is so good. Every one of these sentences where it's just like sending immediate shivers down my spine. I love this. I hate it, but I love it. I look at him and I'm like, what are you on about? And he goes, remember that story you told me your coworker told you? I nod. Yeah? About the incidents on why they don't let anyone swim here any longer? Oh no. And he goes, how many people have died? As soon as he says that, the crickets stop. The wind dies immediately. The fish stop biting. My pole was being pulled in as he said that, and it just slipped off, and you could hear a pin drop. Literally like the bog in Lord of the Rings where they're walking across with Gollum and it's all the bodies. Do you feel that, Mr. Krabs? I'm scared. I have to cope somehow. It's going to be SpongeBob. It's going to be SpongeBob and Lord of the Rings jokes. The epitome of my brain, apparently. And I nod. My chest is feeling heavy and hard to breathe. A horrible feeling of dread. This is literally when Frodo is like looking down. He's like being pulled in. Literally, but also mentally. He looks around and says, bro, let's pack our crap and dip. If you go there one more time, you're like, oh, maybe it was fine. I agree, and we grab half the junk, pack it up. The tweeting starts back up. We go back for the rest and rush to the car. He suddenly flips around with his meh. Why am I reacting like I'm watching this? Maybe it's because, like, you know, when we're reading stories, our brains are like doing that. So literally as I read the word knife, I was like, oh. Suddenly flips around with his knife drawn and I pull my gun. And he says, we need to go now. We get in and drive off. And I'm like, what the F did you pull your knife for? And he says, something was running behind me, like it was charging us. Ew! Dude, you have so many of these like mic drop sentences. Ugh. What's that, like the third or fourth one that's just got me like, bleh. I don't know what happened, but even typing this out gives me chills. I don't believe in anything supernatural or paranormal. I bet you do now. Ghosts, werewolves, whatever it is considered paranormal or spooky. It scared the crap out of me. Something wasn't right and I knew it. I can't explain it. I guess I'm asking in case someone might know what I might have experienced. As an update, I've been noticing footprints in the grass around my home. And noises in the dead of night. Noises like the one I just made. Wah, 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 wah. Deep breath, everybody. Still, like, I'm shaking a little. This is freaking me out. Someone was like, F that. I wouldn't go back there again because if it follows you home, it's gonna be hard as hell to make it leave you alone. They said, unfortunately, I think it did. Roommates are saying they heard something stalking the windows. Apparently there was something interested in my friend's girlfriend. She's taken, sir. Old Appalachian folklore is don't go in the woods at night, never whistle in the woods at night, and if you and another person are in the woods at night, never use each other's names. Ooh. Also, don't answer to out-of-place voices, like familiar voices of people who aren't with you. Gross. Well, you're welcome for that piece of survival information. Ugh. This story is creepy, but the comments made it so much more creepy. Like, what do you mean it followed you home? And someone else is like, it sounds like a mimic. Yay. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm gonna give my husband a big old hug when he gets in. These were so good. Especially that last one. Dude, you had so many just like mic drop statements. Had me actually just... I'm pretty sure a couple of them made me like stop breathing for a second. Whew. All right. It's safe now. You can come back up under the covers. You can turn on the lights. It's okay. Everyone give yourselves a big hug or give each other a hug if you're watching with a friend, which, hello, because I wish to fill you with terror and force you to listen to my jokes. But anyway, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the tomfoolery. Hope you stick around. Grab your cozies and snackies and let's head on into it. Oh, and as always, if you have any stories you'd like to share, you can either email me or there's links in the description. This is My House Was Haunted. At least your childhood wasn't boring. So this happened when I was a kid and our house was surrounded by woods and there was only a few neighbors around us. That's not disconcerting at all. Like, I like the idea of being like stranded, but then I think of things like this and I'm like, I'm good. Give me civilization. Every once in a while during the night around midnight, I would lay in bed because I couldn't sleep. Me every night. I have to listen to a movie almost every night just so I have like some stimulation to my noggin, but one that I've like seen lots of times where I can easily fall asleep to it. It just helps me like, you know, like focus on something, but then also just drift off, you know? Lately it's been Mission Impossible #4. I don't know what it is. I love that movie. I felt a creepy vibe, like something or someone was watching me. It's me. Sometimes I would hear footsteps coming from the attic above my bedroom. You're under the attic? You're just asking for trouble. I'll never forget that in my parents' closet, that was the way to get to the attic. And I remember one time it was open. It was just a square up there and it was a dark square. And I just looked at that and I went, I don't trust you. I'll get eaten real quick. It sounded like someone was walking around. They're like, don't mind me, I'm having a fashion show. I'm trying on all the dusty old wedding dress and the shawl over there. I'm mixing them because fashion. I went outside my bedroom into the hallway and everyone in my family was sleeping and their doors were closed. So I went back to my bedroom and closed my door. I was laying in my bed again and I heard the footsteps in the attic. Who was bumbling around up there? Then I heard something fall in my closet. Excuse me, do not interrupt my slumber, especially because I'm already an insomniac. I'll never forget. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it pisses me off. One time in college, I was about to go to sleep. I was literally like moments away from floating off to dreamland, and then someone set off the fire alarm. Get this, because they were microwaving a mac and cheese thing, and they forgot to put water in it. Yep. So the fire alarm went off when they put it in the microwave, and then we all had to go outside in the snow at 11 p.m. Again, I'm an insomniac. I was so mad that I was literally minutes away from going to sleep, and then that happened. And some people were in the shower. They had to go out in the snow in a towel. And I think it was snowing too. I actually made a TikTok recently. You should go follow me. Sometimes when I'm trying to go to sleep, the reason why I have a hard time is because it's boring. I don't know, having to just sit there, just wait to fall asleep. I'm just like, I'm bored. Just my inner toddler coming out, you know? I was so scared that I ran into my parents' bedroom and woke them up. They were confused at first, but then I explained to them what I heard. My mom and dad said it was probably just my imagination and they didn't believe me. Oh, that reminds me. Dude, I swear. One Christmas Eve night, I had heard thumps on the roof. I swear I did. I have never forgotten that. I don't think I even really told any of my family. I was like, oh, that must be Santa. And I'll never forget later when I was a little bit older, but you know, still pretty young, that I was in my room, I was talking to my sister, and I was like, I want to go get some water or something. And she like blocked the door, like literally like this. She's like, I'll go get it. Her eye twitching. And in the distance, I could hear the faint rustling of paper. Like, okay, you guys think you're so sly. You schemers trying to keep me from seeing the truth. I'm allergic to this buffoonery. You can't fool me. They walked with me back to my bedroom and looked around my bedroom, and then they went inside my closet. There was a board game that had spilled over all of the closet floor. Ugh. All those pieces. Imagine if it was Monopoly. Ugh. The worst ASMR you've ever heard. It was at the back of the shelf at the top of my closet, so there was no way it could have fallen without someone pushing it off. Just imagining a little gremlin ghost just like... Try to get to Park Place now. I said in one of my last videos, I think ghosts are just pranksters, honestly. My parents helped me clean it up and put it back on the shelf. They said that there was nothing to be scared of, and then they put me back to bed. They went back to bed too, and a few minutes after they left, I said that's so weird, I heard someone whispering something. No! You can't whisper sweet nothings in my ear without taking me to dinner. It sounded like they were calling my name. I did not give thee permission for first name basis. Then I saw a shadow that looked like a person. Walking across the wall by my closet. Wait, on the wall? I thought it was a ghost. And I started freaking out again, and I grabbed my pillow and blanket and went to sleep on my parents' bedroom floor. I don't blame you. After that, I slept on their floor a few more nights. Eventually, I went back to sleeping in my bedroom, and when I would lay in bed again around midnight, I still hear the footsteps in the attic. Ugh. And I continued every once in a while until we eventually moved away. To this day, I still don't know what or who that was, but it still freaks me out. Just the worst upstairs neighbor ever. Always making noise upstairs, coming downstairs to bug you all the time, constantly pranking you. 2 out of 10, you heathen. Landlords are way too lenient on this douche nozzle of a tenant, and they don't even have to pay anything. Imagine though if ghosts did pay the rent. They just, I don't know, what would they pay you in? Buttons and dust bunnies? Whatever they're able to actually pick up. Although some ghosts can move physical objects, so maybe they just scoot a really crinkly dollar bill across the floor. Something tried to get into our car. Ew. Throw salt in their face. This happened to my best friend and I when we were 16. It was the weekend and we lived in rural Montana. So you're already in the middle of nowhere anyway. We heard that the Milky Way would be brightly on display that night, so we hopped into my car and decided to go park on a back road with a light. I didn't breathe that entire sentence. And decided to go park on a back road with little light pollution with some snacks and enjoy the show. That would be so cool. I had a 2001 Toyota Echo and it was my pride and joy. I opened up the sunroof and we found a nice little pullout on a gravel road that I had driven well over 100 times. We locked all the doors. Good. Always lock the door if you're alone in your car. Put our seats back and stared up at the beautiful starry sky as we chatted and ate our snacks. That's so cute. We were in a farm area. There was one little house about a mile behind us. The house was quiet and the outside light was on, but it was nearly 1 a.m. After a half hour, we began to hear footsteps. Who goes there? Answer me these riddles 3, and I'll decide if you get to proceed. Approaching us from the rear. Excuse me. It was dark, but the sky lit up the outside well enough for us to see our surroundings for a good distance. We could not see anything walking on the road. Oh, that's horrifying. Growing up on these back roads, you learn over time what different animals and humans sound like walking through the woods or on the gravel. I'd been on these roads my whole life and could tell this was not an animal. It was far too noisy and the heel would scuff the rocks as if it was a heavy pair of boots. We watched intently, but right when it sounded close, it stopped. Then we heard whistles, high-pitched, eerie whistles. First, the shivers going down my spine. At first, my friend said it sounded like a recall whistle. What? Oh. Read the next sentence, Amanda. Like maybe someone nearby was calling their dog. But then they got short and they were sporadic with no real pattern. Ew, what? Imagine hearing that in the middle of the night and you can't even see anything. You can't see anything. That's so scary. I closed the sunroof and we began packing up to go. I threw the blankets in the back seat and we put away our snacks. The hairs on my neck suddenly stood up and right when I was about to mention it, the handle of the rear door got yanked hard. Like someone tried to open the door. No. fine. Emergency protection blanket for me. It snapped like it was let go hurriedly. No! I looked out that window the moment it happened and nothing was there! Nothing! That's so freaking scary. Like, what do you mean nothing was there? There was nowhere to hide. My mirrors are pointed in all the right places, so I had a good view no matter what angle I looked, and we didn't hear anyone run away. No. Goosebumps formed all over our arms. Me too! And I threw it in drive and sped off. The next day I returned. I wanted to look for footsteps or some sort of explanation. There was none. It was quiet and the only trails in the gravel were tire tracks from the night before. I don't know what it was, but to this day we get scared when we talk about it. Yeah, I wasn't even there and I'm terrified. I'm fine. How are you? That was horrible. Dude, what even? What a horrible, stinky, stinky ghost. How dare you? How could you do this to me? I know I asked for this. I literally asked for it. You know it's good when the store makes you go, thanks. I hate it. Oh, good glory, Miss Badori. Who was Badori? I don't know. Maybe that's the name of the ghost. Maybe they're just so mad that that's their name. They have to go spook some teenagers. I mean, I guess I'd be mad too, but come on. Come on, Badori. And finally, we finish with, I had 2 ghost friends as a child. I hope this is wholesome. As the title reads, I had 2 ghost friends as a child. I will recount the memory as I explained it to my mother. When I was in middle school, my brother, mother, and I went out to dinner one night. We were a military family, so we were just recounting and discussing all the places we have lived so far and the people we met along the way. I brought up the very first house I ever lived in and the 2 friends I had there. My mom had this strange look on her face. And I asked what was wrong. She asked me to tell her what these kids looked like. They were twins, or at least a very similar age. What in The Shining? The girl wore a sort of bonnet with a little dress. I don't remember shoes. The boy wore overalls and a little shirt. They didn't look the same as me. As you. I'd be concerned if they looked like you. What in the Pilgrim Shining? I know I would be freaked out if that were true. Come, they pass. No! Begone, you imposters. You can't fool me. There's only one with this beautiful face, and it's me. My mother, who was very much a believer in the paranormal, so she knows what that is. You know what she's about to say. Said those children I remembered were actually ghosts. I was shocked to say the least. I had remembered spending many days with these 2 kids. I told my mom how they used to tell me bedtime stories. Cute, but also meh. And I remembered exactly what my room looked like at the time. I remember the furniture I had, the position of my crib? Crib? How old are you when you played with these kids? That must be like toddler, I guess. It's definitely spooky, but they seem sweet. Just like that secondhand store video I made. That one is one of my favorite stories, like, to date. Of, like, just any stories I've read. You should go watch that. The light from the hallway would shine into my room, and where the door was in relation to it. I remember because 2 kids would sit right where the light came in. Again, it's sweet, but I hate it. Just 2 ghost children standing in front of a light. Like, I'm sure you're very nice, but that doesn't stop you from being creepy. Because these 2 kids would sit where the light came in and talk to me until I fell asleep. Every night. Wow. I mean, yeah, they got a friend they can talk to. That's sweet. If I were a ghost and there was some kid that was really nice to me, I'd talk to them every night too. That just made me picture, like, if I was a ghost somewhere and I was haunting someplace. In the distance, they just keep hearing my little gremlin laughs and jokes. Everyone moves away, not because they're scared of me, but just because they're really annoyed. Because I never shut up. I'm like, no, another friend gone. Because I never shut up about my Lord of the Rings references and jokes. My mom told me about how I'd play with them, or how she would give me a bath and I would look over her shoulder and wave to them. As an adult? That, like, I'm not a parent yet, but, like, picturing that? No! Although I guess if she could sense they were good spirits, like, that's chill, I guess. But still, giving your child a bath and they look over your shoulder and they just wave at something that's not there. Ugh. Kudos to you, lady, because, like, no. She said she had no fear of them as there was nothing evil there happening. They're basically just, like, cats. They're just there until they're not. And then they're there again, just doing their own thing. She noticed that I stopped talking about them or to them, and she asked me one day what happened. I apparently told her that their mother had finally come and found them, and they all left together, and I never saw them again. The That's really cute. Oh, jokes aside, that's really sweet. Like, I don't know. Who knows about ghosts, right? I feel like I've heard some stories, like both on here, but just in real life too, where it's like people tell me these stories and it's convincing, you know, and it's just like, what other explanation is there, right? So I'm kind of like, who knows? I'm open to that being true. Kind of like with aliens, because it's like, do you know how many galaxies there are? How many? Like, we can't even count them. We literally cannot count them. Like, I feel like there's gotta be. And we just can't talk to them because they're too far away, you know? And with ghosts, who knows? I remember the way they looked, although I'd never been able to find any information on them. The house we lived in at the time was military housing on Fort Bragg. I like that name. Fort Bragg. Not to brag. I got a pretty good fort. The land was older. They looked like TV static, but with depth. Oh, the kids? Oh. I remember explaining to my entire family when I was maybe 5. They look like the colors you see when you rub your eyes too hard or too long. I would do that right now, but that's apparently not very good for your eyes. I feel I never get to share my paranormal experiences with most people, so I thought I would share here. Thanks for reading. Thanks for sharing, because like, you know, like all the jokes I was making throughout, but like their mother finally coming to get, like, imagine if it was like she's been looking for them for a while and then she finally found them. Oh, and like maybe it's like because they were a military family, like she couldn't figure out where they were because, you know, you move around a lot. That's so sweet. I hope they're happily all together. Man, I was hoping that would be wholesome, and that was so wholesome. I love finishing off with that. Greetings, weary travelers, fellow story gremlins, to more spooky time. And I almost became a spooky story because I almost slipped in the shower. If you have any spooky stories you want to share or any other kinds of stories, you can either email me or there's links below in the description where you can submit. Alrighty, grab your cozies and snackies, and let's head on into it. And if you want to up the spoop a little bit, turn off the lights, put on headphones. I dare you. And we're gonna do a little warm-up with a 2-sentence horror story. I love these. I love there's not a lot to them, so it just allows your imagination to just run wild. And this one's by the lovely Nether Plays VR. Almost forgot your name. I'm sorry. I love you. Alright. His skin turned a sickly yellow, veins darkening and spreading like ink beneath the surface. Ooh. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? Maybe I should finish the story first before I... Spreading like ink beneath the surface. Each night, his eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and he spoke in a voice that chilled the air, foretelling a dreadful fate. Well, what is it? Leave me with a cliffhanger like that? Okay, so what I was going to say is, did you ever watch those, I think it was called 1,000 Ways to Die? Just the more realistic, horrifying version of Dumb Ways to Die. There was this one where someone, like, injected themselves with glow stick fluid. It was horrifying. It was that one, and then another one I saw where like someone's sternum broke, and I was just like, those images will never leave my mind, and I wish they would, honestly. Very good on the oogly boogly scale, foretelling a dreadful fate. Ugh. I love and hate that it's like, oh, it could be anything. Could be anything. Imagine you close your eyes and you just see yellow. And it was all yellow. Like, can I sleep, please? Less horrified and more just annoyed. He spoke in a voice that chilled the air. Some kind of seer? Ooh, that'd be interesting, because if he's foretelling, something bad's gonna happen. Alright, nice warm-up. Now let's get into a story. I was hired to clean out an old mansion. What I found in the attic still haunts me. Ooh, oogly boogly. I've been a professional cleaner for years. Horrifying enough in itself. I cannot imagine the things you have found. Specializing in old abandoned properties. Ooh, kind of like when you're, you have the graveyard cleaners. I've heard it pays pretty good, which I could see why, because you'd have to have like a heart of steel. I couldn't do it. I get scared when I'm going into the bathroom in the middle of the night. I'm a wimp. What an interesting specialization. It's not a glamorous job, but it pays well, and I've always enjoyed the solitude. Yeah, honestly, I've thought about like just, you know, being a cleaner before, because I enjoy that and I enjoy the satisfaction of cleaning. However, my latest assignment has left me questioning everything I thought I knew about the world. You saw something real nasty, didn't you? I imagine there are messes so bad that it makes professional cleaners question the world that much. Paranormal or not, it's just a bunch of ectoplasm everywhere. They had diarrhea that day, sorry. It started like any other job. What is this noir setup?
It started like any other job.
I was hired by a wealthy client to clean out a mansion. That is literally the start to a horror movie. Trust nothing, don't do it. That had been in his family for generations. The place was massive, with dozens of rooms filled with dust and forgotten furniture. I trust nothing. My client, Mr. Dawson. That is such a... Is Mr. Dawson a ghost? You can tell us. Gave me strict instructions to leave the attic alone. No, there's so many red flags. He said it was full of old family memorabilia. Yeah, sure. You mean old family? And he would handle it himself. Curiosity has always been my weakness.
Ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
You are the first one to die in a horror movie. I hate to tell you. He's like, I did, typing on his ghost computer. We are receiving a story from the beyond. Dude, after all those red flags, you should not have passed go. I don't care if there's $200 to collect. You should not have done it. Imagine if you only got $200 for that. I would believe it. People don't value, like, janitors or cleaners as much as they should. Shout out to all of you, because you do a great job. But yeah, that's unbelievable to me that people, like, scoff at people like that, because it's like, dude, they're literally cleaning up after you. Do you want to do the work? No? Then appreciate them. Or I will haunt you. After a week of cleaning. Ugh, and still not done? I mean, it is a mansion, to be fair. I couldn't resist the urge to take a peek. Why? You are the frustrating person to watch in horror movies. One afternoon while Mr. Dawson was out, I climbed the narrow staircase to the attic. No. The door was locked, but a quick search through the house yielded an old key that fit perfectly. The skeleton key. It's literally a skeleton. The attic was unlike any other part of the house. It was dark and musty, with a single window covered in grime. As I moved my flashlight around, I noticed a strange metallic smell in the air. It's probably blood. Trust nothing. Swipe left. Why must you stress me out like this? Why did you do this? The space was filled with old trunks and covered furniture, but one thing caught my eye immediately. A large, ornate mirror leaning against the far wall. No. Portal to the demon realm.
No.
You should have hightailed out of there, you buffoon. Oh, I never thought about that phrase. High-tailed, like a cat. You want the tail up because then you can run away. I approached it cautiously. Why did you do this? My flashlight beam bouncing off the glass. As I got closer, I saw something move in the reflection. I like that my response to getting scared is just getting mad at you. My heart skipped a beat, and then stopped. Now I'm the ghost of this attic. That's what Mr. Dawson does. He knows, don't go in the attic. He knows people are going to go up there. And that's what he wants, because he wants you to see the mirror, get so spooked that you just die right there. And then he collects the ghosts like Pokemon. Another cleaner for my collection. It's specifically cleaners. He gets to keep all the stuff. Not even use it, just display it, just to make you even more mad at the non-use of your cleaning supplies. And I spun around, but there was nothing there. Ugh! I hate that ghosts do this. They just constantly prank you. I guess I gotta keep themselves entertained somehow. I turned back to the mirror and my blood ran cold. I've morphed into an iguana right there, so I could scurry away. Ding dong, Ding dong? Ding dong, I'm a shapeshifter. The reflection showed the attic as it was, but there was a figure standing behind me. A tall, shadowy man with glowing red eyes. Do not perceive me, sir. I felt a chill run down my spine as the figure raised a hand and pointed directly at me. Yeah, that's sending shivers down my spine. Good job. I will never sleep again. I want your cleaning supplies.
Give me the fabuloso.
I stumbled back, knocking over an old trunk. The figure in the mirror started to move, slowly stepping closer. My instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like lead. Just as the figure was about to reach the surface of the mirror, I snapped out of my paralysis and bolted for the door. And then I bolted it shut. No one else is going in there ever again. I slammed the attic door shut behind me and locked it. My heart pounded in my chest as I leaned against the door, trying to catch my breath. I could hear faint whispers coming from the other side. Give me the fabuloso. But I couldn't make out any words. The metallic smell seemed to linger around me, clinging to my clothes. Ew! I decided to leave the mansion that night. I packed my things and left a note for Mr. Dawson, explaining that I couldn't continue the job. He's like, dang it. He's like, so close. That one was limited edition. As I drove away, I glanced back at the house and saw a figure standing in the attic window watching me. Don't you dare look at me, you creeper. A few days later, I received a call from Mr. Dawson. He sounded frantic, asking me if I had gone into the attic. I admitted that I had. You fool! I was not expecting you to actually talk to him. That's cool. And he cursed under his breath. He told me that the mirror had been in his family for centuries and that it was cursed. Anyone who saw the figure in the mirror was doomed to be haunted by it for the rest of their lives. No, no, no! I thought he was crazy, but the nightmares began almost immediately. Every night I dreamt of the attic and the figure with the red eyes. I feel its cold presence watching me, waiting for the moment when I let my guard down. My fabuloso! My fancy duster! That's literally all he wants. As soon as you let your guard down, he just goes, yoink! Now my mirror will be the cleanest it's ever been. That's literally all this guy's been wanting. He just wants your cleaning supplies. His mirror has been dirty for so long. I've moved twice since then, but the dreams follow me wherever I go. I've tried to destroy the mirror in my dreams, but it always reappears untouched. I'm writing this as a warning. If you're ever cleaning out an old house and find a hidden attic, leave it alone. Some secrets are better left undisturbed. Bruh. Someone says, well, I guess curiosity won't be your weakness anymore. I have a feeling, I don't know, do you guys think this one's real? Because towards the end, it does feel a little like, okay, I don't know how much this is real. Maybe that's me coping, because I hope this isn't real. Real or not? Real or not, that was pretty good. That got my heart pumping. That got my neck hairs a-tingling. Now for another 2-sentence one. In the stillness of the night, she felt a gentle tug at her sheets. That better either be my dog or my little toddler. Turning, she saw her own gaunt face. I hate it. I hate it. Twisted in agony, hovering over her, whispering, I never left. I'm just inside you now. Oh! It's gonna be me when I'm a ghost. That was a sneak peek at my ghostly wails. It's so dumb. That just made me think like, oh, I'm a whale ghost. Yes, I'll be reincarnated as a whale, and then I'll die again, and then I'll just be stuck as a whale. Yeah, if I can't experience being big now, I'll be big in my afterlife. But I like how it's my reincarnated afterlife. That one is good. And someone was like, huh? And then the OP says, it's meant to be a horror story about a cancer reoccurrence. That is creative. I don't know if I would have guessed that. Like, I don't even know what I thought. I'm just too busy just feeling like, ugh. Too busy feeling the tingles down my spine. But I can see that. This is the story of haunted items in my secondhand store. Of course. Of course. What is the best place for haunted things to be at? Thrift stores. I do love thrift stores though. I just find them so interesting. Although this story may make me not want to go for a while. I owned a secondhand store in Pennacook, New Hampshire. And used to bring my white lab mix with me to work. She was sweet and loved everyone. That's so cute. She was sweet. Oh, I already read that. I used to take in consignments here and there. An elderly gentleman came into my store and asked if I would be willing to have an antique spinning wheel that his deceased wife bought at auction from a warehouse in town that was renovated years before. I agreed. Don't prick your finger on it. He returned about a week later with the spinning wheel and set it up in front of the store where you could see it from a large front windows. My store was in a mini mall, sandwiched between a Subway and a hairdresser. I don't know why that's kind of funny. Get your hair done, get a haunted doll, and get a sandwich. The perfect day. So it was all kinds of traffic in front of my store, day and night until Subway closed. It was probably a few weeks later, and I unlocked the store door and walked in to turn off the alarm. My dog walked in and stopped in front of the spinning wheel. No. She looked at it, cocking her head from side to side and wagging her tail. Okay. Late wife. Maybe it's the wife. She, if a dog is wagging its tail at it, it's probably a sweet ghost. Okay, please. I noticed and watched her. Suddenly the spinning wheel started to move. Oh my gosh. Now that she's met all of her deceased family, she's got to make sweaters for them all. A grandmother's love continues in the afterlife too. I did not think that much of it at first because I figured that it was the wind from the door coming in. I called for my dog so I could get her in the back room. It was an uneventful day until one of the employees came into my store in the late afternoon. I knew her from ordering my subs and we waved to each other when she went on duty. She asked if I had an AC on last night. I did not. It was the start of autumn and there would not have been any circulation of air in the store. I asked why. She told me that a customer came in and asked if my store was haunted. I mean, probably. I feel like there's no way to have a secondhand store without at least one thing being haunted. I thought that was odd. Why? You know the drill. Isn't that part of initiation of having a thrift store? She said the customer saw a lady sitting at the spinning wheel. Oh my gosh. And the wheel was moving fast as if it was spinning yarn. Yeah, she's making the sweaters. One day you're going to see them lined up in Mulan because I just want to show you their sweaters. The Subway employee just chuckled when she told me this and said that she did not want to be late for her shift and left. You just drop that bomb. She's like, hey, that's yours now. I'm going to go make some meatball subs all day.
Have fun with the nightmares.
I chuckled to myself and went about my business. To be honest, I was thinking that it would not be surprising since my store was made up of pre-owned items. Now that occurs to you? Time went by and I completely forgot about the conversation until the next morning when something inevitably happened. You just feel some fabric punt you in the head. It says Grandma's #1 store owner. I went into the store as usual and my dog stopped at the spinning wheel and again, the wheel started spinning. She's making one for the dog now. It was kind of comforting knowing that a woman was still attached to her beloved spinning wheel, but that comfort was short-lived. Oh no, do not tell me you rejected the sweater. The blasphemy. I had a busy week of going out and purchasing new items for my store and did not pay any attention to really anything but buying, selling, and rearranging the store for the new items. I needed to finish up some paperwork and the displays, so I came back to work after my son was asleep to finish. That is when odd things started happening. Both the stores on each side of me were closed and no one but my car was in the parking lot. Oh, that's definitely really eerie. I walked into the door, located the loading dock, and when I heard it, it sounded as if there was a room full of people chatting and laughing. They're showing each other the sweaters! It's a party! They're just having a Christmas party right now. I crept into the showroom and the noise stopped. I thought maybe someone was at the hairdresser or Subway and disregarded it. I proceeded to the office and the evening security lights were plenty to see by, so I never turned on the full lights in the store. I sat down at the desk and started to pull out the files when it was happening again. My office could see into the showroom and there was no one in there. I got up and walked into the showroom. It was happening all around me. It was loud but joyful. Aww. It was like different entities that were attached to the secondhand items were having a party. It was more funny than scary. That's cute. Are we having a wholesome ghost story? There was a knock at the loading dock door. The merriment ended. Who dare disrupt my Christmas party? Grandma comes booming in.
Who did it?
No Christmas sweater for you. Or if she does, it's one with a big frowny face. That's how she indicates if she likes you or not. She quickly makes something and throws it at your face. As it appears, it shows whether or not she likes you. I went to answer the door and it was a friend delivering a desk that I had purchased from a flea market a few days prior. I helped him bring it in and had the perfect spot for it. We moved a few things around and I placed it with an old repurposed chair that I picked up at a garage sale a few months back. It's been a long time since I've been at a garage sale. I want to go to one. I walked my friend out and we talked for a while at his truck about a flea market I wanted to visit and needed an extra pair of hands that I would pay him for his time. I entered the store and it was eerily quiet. Oh no. Is the desk unwelcome at the party? Is the ghost in this desk the creepy uncle at the party? The chair was not in the same place at the desk. All the other pieces took it and started beating it up. I thought I forgot to put it at the desk, shaking my head and mumbled that I must be tired. I put the chair back and headed to the office. No sooner than I sat down, I heard something fall. Oh, they're real mad. It's not the chair? It's the chair. The chair is the creepy uncle. I heard something fall. I went into the showroom and the chair was knocked over and a bit away from the desk. Oh. Someone's not welcome at the Christmas party. It's because they offended Grandma at the barbecue. Then I heard it. It started low, and I had to strain my ears to hear it, but it sounded like an argument. I could not make out the words, but it was a male's voice and another male's voice. It's a lover's quarrel over Grandma. Then it got louder and louder. I grabbed the chair to pick it up when the roll top of the desk slammed down. You're trying to tussle. You have to hold them back. I was in shock. I told myself to be calm. I grabbed the chair, put it back where it was originally, and went into the back room. I found another chair, and this is weird, but I asked it nicely if it would mind being paired with the desk. Hoping it was fine, I proceeded back to the desk. I said to the desk if it would mind if I paired this chair with it. Nothing. So I slowly put the chair up to the desk and backed away. Nothing. Okay. So did he like switch around stuff? They're having arguments because they just hate each other. How polite of you to ask if they consented to being switched. You're just dealing with Antique Store Love Island. I don't want to be with him. I am Chestnut and he is Birch. How dare you think we're compatible? So it seems like things are all good. Nothing's happening. I decided it was too late to work on paperwork and left the store. After that, it changed how I approached the pairings in the store. How polite, you ask permission before putting them together. There clearly was an argument during the Christmas party, which, are we really surprised? Somebody was not welcome, which deserved. If they insulted Grandma, I will fight them. One last 2-sentence horror story. Thanks again hugely to Nether Plays VR. Gave me so many of these. In the abandoned cabin deep in the woods, the lone survivor stumbled across a gruesome scene. Oh dear. The walls were adorned with the flayed skins of the victims, their empty eyes seeming to follow his every move as they realized they were still alive. Ugh! Brother, ugh! That is the most brother, ugh 2-sentence horror story I've ever read. Good job. I hate it. Truly the epitome of horrifying. Also the lone survivor. Ugh, what are they surviving? Ugh! So many questions. That's why I love these. Just have to piece it together. I think I had encountered a ghost as a kid. That's always great. I think I was 5 to 6 when this happened. I was sleeping beside my mother, and my dad was supposed to come back home from work that night late. My dad was supposed to come somewhere around 1 to 2 a.m. Mind you, it was winter, hence it wasn't much windy, and the windows were closed, and obviously the fan wasn't on. I was a light sleeper as a kid, hence I understood what was happening. When my dad entered, he greeted me and asked me if I was pretending to be asleep. He said he'd brought my fave chocolates. Aw, it's cute. I giggled and said, yes, I am. Not surprised, every child is a gremlin for chocolate. Well, I think that's what I did wrong. The next moment, my mom came into the room saying the doorbell wasn't ringed by my dad. Wait, huh? Wait, what? Huh? In fact, someone seemed to have ding-dong ditched us in the middle of the night. I obviously didn't think much because I was a little kid, but I kept on wondering what I saw. Who asked me if I was asleep or not? No way, bro. What the heck? So were your eyes still closed? Oh, that's so creepy. I freaked out a minute after the above thought came into my mind, and I told my mother, who obviously thought I was joking because I was a kid. Well, then I think I fell asleep, but now I got scared for real. The pause between each word. My mother was fast asleep. I felt something touch my face, caress my face. I didn't dare to look up. But then I heard the sound of a hanger falling. It was hanging out on the closet. I looked up and saw nothing. I looked at my mother and saw that she was fast asleep. Then the bell rang again. This time I peed my effing self. So it's not very clear, but I'm guessing your eyes were closed in both of these encounters. Well, the second time you looked up, but I'm guessing like you thought you heard your dad. I was like, ooh, do you want some chocolate? But your dad wasn't home yet, actually. And then you created a horror scenario when your mom woke up and saw the pee everywhere. Well, you had your eyes closed wondering if that was dad or not. She had her eyes closed like, that's pee, isn't it? I'll deal with it in the morning. Rolls over. And I sadly don't remember what happened next, but what do y'all think happened? Was I just too imaginative? Who bribed me with chocolates in the middle of the night? That's a fair point. A parent would probably never do that, because who would want to have their child bouncing off the walls in the middle of the night? How did the hanger fall even when there was literally zero ventilation in the room? Oh, that's so creepy. Just reading that sentence, like caressing my face, I wanted to slap it for you. Intruder! Who is this Scooby-Doo villain pretending to be my father? Oh yeah, because your eyes would have been closed, because like, oh, if I was pretending to be asleep. I'm surprised you didn't open your eyes. Oh my gosh. And then someone had a really interesting comment. They said you had a, I'm gonna probably butcher this, you had a hypnagogia or hypnopompia hallucination. Oh my gosh. They're common and they ain't paranormal. Oh, I mean good, but all. There's also a solid chance the events have been altered in your memory. Human memory sucks and is incredibly fallible, especially over long periods of time. And then OP responds, oh, thanks. I mean, as a kid, I was really creative. I mean, that is true. Kids are quite creative. All right, the spoops are all done. You can breathe. All right, nerds, let's go. This is Banshee? I like all the question marks. I like the very questioning tone. I too have questions. I feel like that's a common experience though with ghost stories. It's like, I cannot believe this happened. So this happened when my brother and I were teenagers, maybe 13 and 14. Ah, prime haunting ages. You're already having a hard time in school and going through puberty? Bam! Here's a ghost. It's a ghost about going through puberty. You just hear a bunch of voice cracking. Ooh! Beware the acne. We lived in a rural town. Is rural? 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 Is that hard for anyone else to say? A town with a nice mix of busy streets and, at the time, sprawling farms. My family home was the second last house in the last neighborhood before you hit farmland as far as the eye could see. Ah, so you live right next to the abyss, huh? No wonder you're having ghost encounters. It's a field of corn, and all you hear are just a bunch of whispers saying corn over and over. I'd be scared too. To the right of my house, as I'm pointing left, to the right of my house was my neighbor's, then a thick hedgerow, which separated the housing estate from the farm. Estate. Sounds so fancy when you put it that way. The first 5 or 6 fields in this part of the farm grew barley and wheat. Wheat! As kids, we made tunnels through the hedgerow and spent hours every day during the summer exploring the farms with friends. Each field was huge and was separated from the neighboring field by other large hedgerow, some complete with streams running through them. Like streams as in water? Do you have to like water bend to get through them?
Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
One night, my little brother, our 2 best friends, and myself were outside our house playing with a football on the road and skateboarding. As a little kid, I would say like, oh, I ride skateboard, because I wanted to seem cool, when really I was just rolling down the hill on my stomach, or my butt. Very extreme. It was about 9:30 at night and quite dark. I wish it's getting dark at 4:30. Remember, we were the second last house on the road in the very last housing estate before it was just barley as far as the eye could see. We were essentially the very edge of town. Anyway, on this night we were hanging out as usual when suddenly we heard an ear-piercing squall. Squall! It's like, what is the bird's name in The Little Mermaid? Where he's wah wah wah. Yes, very squally. Coming from the barley field beside us. Why are you doing kiss the girl here? There's literally no water. They're still trying to do it. They're like sitting in the field in the boat. He's trying to like scrape his way through the field using the oars. The perfect romance destination. Barley! It was so loud and high-pitched and had a feeling of panic about it, yet kind of funny to our young minds. You're scared yet also excited. We decided to go investigate. You buffoons! You never investigate. First rule of survival. Never be curious. Thinking it was a pig or an injured animal of some description. When you put it that way, I gotta say a little Wilbur. So in youthful excitement, we burrow through the hedgerow. I don't know why that description is funny, but I love it. And start running towards the origin of the sound. All laughing, thinking, and excitement. You thought wrong. The barley was ready to be plucked from the earth, so it was high. Up past our waist, so we couldn't see anything that may be on the ground injured. I do not like where that could lead. You get yoinked, and you'll start squalling. As we get close to where the sound is coming from, it suddenly stopped. Excusez-moi? We stop and look at each other laughing. Why are you laughing? There's no laughing matter. Then it starts again, but now it's originating from the point of the field in which we first entered. I'm sorry? We exchange glances in confusion before sprinting toward the sound, believing it must be a scared, injured animal. That fast, though? Especially if it, took a second from it stopping and then starting again. You wouldn't last 2 seconds in a horror movie. No questioning at this point? Then the sound stops before immediately starting again, but directly behind us. Begone, foul beast! On and get the frying pan. This time it sounded ominous, and the feeling changed. The sound then stopped again, starting instantly, but way, way off in the distance. Ew! It moved towards us at speeds way too fast for an animal. Stop it! As it reached us, I hit it with the frying pan. As it reached us, it stopped, and again came from a totally different end of the field, hurtling towards us in pitch black. I forgot it was dark! Now we are frightened. Now? This is not an injured animal. We have no idea what it is. The sound then seemed to stop and start from everywhere. Fellas, we have unwittingly entered a ghost rave. They suddenly all get squished together, not realizing they are in the middle of the mosh pit and it's too late. Moving with incredible speeds all around us, covering huge distances in seconds. Ew! Without saying a word, we all run as fast as possible to the hedgerow, which we entered. All the while, this loud screeching, wailing moves all around us. My younger brother begins crying in fear as we all rush to get back into our neighborhood under streetlights near our home. As soon as we cross the threshold, the high-pitched screaming chasing behind us stopped at the border. It's vampire rules. We were all physically shaken and scared now. My little brother was hysterical for weeks, refusing to go back into the field even during a sunny day. Again, I was literally picturing it as a sunny, nice day. I literally read at the beginning that this was at nighttime. Gah. A few years later, my brother would tragically die suddenly in that house. I'm sorry for your loss. Many strange sightings of a withered woman were reported around those fields over the years. Ugh. Oh yeah, Banshee. Right. Literally the title of the story. If anyone is familiar with the legends of the Banshee, let me know what you think. This occurred in Ireland, as you've probably guessed. I did not. I don't know what I was picturing. My ghost liked a cup of tea. I mean, who wouldn't? I used to live in a share house, eastern suburbs of Melbourne? I think that's the right way to say it. Australia. Nothing special about the place. Very ordinary suburban brick house, probably built in the mid-70s. We knew nothing of its history before moving in. That was your first mistake. My housemate was often away for work for days at a time, and I would be there alone. Your second mistake. Should have gotten a dog. Frequently, I would come home from work to a sensation that I can't explain, other than a feeling someone else had just been there, even when it definitely wasn't the case. Then, on at least 3 occasions, the strangest thing. I would come home and before opening the door, hear the loud sound of our kettle boiling in the kitchen and click off as I walked inside. Like, no, they can't know. That's so funny. As if someone was disturbed and flicked it off. The kettle was hot, boiled water, but absolutely nobody home. I never felt danger or threatened, but that house certainly seemed to have another entity at home there. I love the cottony act, like, no, they must never know. That would be my husband haunting a home. He loves tea. That sounds like an adorable and cozy ghost. Would fit right in here. My grandfather's farm. This story happened 2 years ago on my now gone grandfather's farm. Before I start talking about the story, I'm going to give description of the farm. We have a big wooden house and 2 sheds at the back of the building, and at least half a football field-sized grass field that ends in with the woods, and on the left side of the building there are some deep woods that go on for a bit. That's a big field. Front of the building is different crops, had corn, carrots, some apple trees, and my grandfather's tomato garden, and some animals too. Rabbits, chickens, and 2 livestock guardians. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's just a bunch of livestock. Dogs on the right side, a small building to hold our tractor, and some other vehicles that can fit in there. What I first saw on the farm, it didn't feel right. Felt like I was being watched, but that feeling faded away after some time. Did what I could to help on the farm, and one morning found out that one of the dogs was bloody. No! And had a broken paw! Who hurt that sweet baby? Time to go to war. I told my grandfather, and he went to the vet with the dog. After some time, I checked in on the rabbit areas where the rabbits were looking like war? I mean, the rabbits are getting ready for war, you know, to avenge the dog. Because that's family. You don't mess with family. I'm not entirely sure what this sentence means. The rabbits look like war. Our rabbit's leg there at ear on the fence. Ooh. Called my grandfather right after that and said what I see. He was angry. He lost 3 rabbits to some unknown animal. Me and my grandfather were thinking about it. What could it be? A black bear? A brown bear? A wolf? We didn't know. My grandfather had an idea. 2 buddies of his who had some trail cameras and asked to borrow them for a bit. Grandfather set up 2 in the animal area, 1 in the garden and 1 from the house pointing towards the apple trees and cornfield, and 2 at the back of the building. 4 days went by and got the dog back. Yay! Had a cast on. I hope you signed it. Just signed, I love you, buddy. And was held inside for some while. I believe it was in the middle of the summer. My friends Carl, Jake, Mike, Jacob called me and said, could we come over and do a small camping trip in the woods near Grandpa's farm? I asked my grandpa and said it was okay. So the next day, me and my friends got ready to go camping, but my grandfather stopped us and dragged me inside for a minute to hand me some of his shotguns. Great. I'm picturing this as like maybe a teenager and just like, okay, Grandpa. He handed me one of his shotguns, the double barrel, and said, be careful. Look out for bears, while handing me like 9 to 10 shotgun shells. After that, I put the double barrel on my back and headed off to the woods with my friends on the camping trip. We were not so deep in the woods, I could barely see the building and the 2 sheds. Not disconcerting at all. When we picked the spot we wanted, we unpacked. One of my 4 friends, Mike, started to set up one of the giant tents where you could stand inside and not touch the top. Oh, that's fun. So bougie. After that, we created a fire pit, and then me and Jacob started the fire, standing back while the fire started. After that, Jake pulled out some of the food and drinks, some colas and waters with some meats and sweets too. Meats and sweets. That'd be a fun, like, butcher and candy shop, because that's a great combo. Meats and sweets. After that, we cooked some food, talked, and had a good time. Sometimes we heard something around us, but thought nothing of it until Mike said, I think I see a bear. Ah.
I'm in danger!
Which reminded me about the gun that I forgot on my back. Took it off my back and loaded it with 2 shells, and looked around to see the animals running away. Now it was a deer. After that, we had some laughs and whatnot, and it started to get dark. So 2 of my friends went to sleep while me and Jake and Carl were up talking about school and what we have done in the summer. So we walked around just to see a deer just like, don't mind me. just chewing some grass. You're like, so sorry, have a good day. And then we just heard the loudest twig ever snap from deeper in the woods. I like the way you're like the biggest twig, it's just a log. The sound just echoed for a bit, and after that the forest went silent. All right, camping trip over. And then Jacob and Mike woke up, came out, and asked what that was. I said it was a twig snapping by some animal, but the more twigs started to snap, but the sound of it came closer. So Jacob went into the tent, grabbing one of those high-power flashlights, and came out and scanned the woods for a bit. It's just the deer again. You flash a slat at it and it's just like, until we heard more twigs snap from one direction. So I took the gun and took out a headlamp and started to scan the forest, gun pointed towards the darkness. Something was coming closer to us, so I did a warning shot into the air, and here from multiple directions something just run away. I'm sorry, multiple directions? If something was running away, what? After that, we calmed down, sat down, and pulled out a radio, one of those handheld ones, you know, and start to play some music. 2 hours later, we hear again twig snaps, but this time it sounded like it was from multiple directions. What is this synchronized dancing? Because you pissed off that one deer, now they're all in a circle all around your campsite. Like 1, 2, 3, snap! And we started to scan the woods, hear the twig snapping gets louder, and then hear as my friend screams, "What the F is that?" And I look towards the area where the flashlight's moving. I see a glimpse of some kind of thing running. That is not descriptive enough. What? Was it on 2 legs? Was it on 4? Give me more information. I flick the gun towards the area where I think it is and shoot. It hit something. It sounded like a fox if it would have very deep vocal cords screaming like a demon from hell. Forgot to breathe there for a second. I'm sorry. Like a fox, but with a deep voice? That's when we all just run from the grass fields, leaving our stuff behind. When we got to the grass field, we still heard whatever it was in the woods, seeing something pass the not so well burning fire. So I put 2 new shells into the gun and fired while screaming at the top of my lungs, "Leave this property or I'm gonna call the cops." I see my grandfather at one of the sheds with my friend holding a phone to his ear talking to 911 while holding a hunting rifle in another hand. I backed up all the way to the shed, scared for my life. Then my grandpa says everything's gonna be fine. I called the cops. It was all just a ruse for all the deer to take over your campsite. Once you all left because you left everything behind, they were like, "Sweet, the campsite is ours now." After that day, my parents came, picked me up, and went home. Some days later, my grandpa caught a glimpse of the thing on the trail cameras moving to the cornfield and the other camera of something peeking out from behind the shed far away. Ugh. Grandpa believed it's some kind of wolf pack or coyotes that was terrorizing us in the farm and no more. Yeah, right. It was the deer. It was the deer. It were the deer. They wanted your stuff, and they succeeded. Raccoons got nothing on deer. I'm on to you. I don't know. Heard from my dad that Grandpa asked some of his hunting buddies over to watch over the property. After that, nothing really happened. I'm telling you, it was just a ruse from those deer. They're sitting there eating all your meats and sweets. I know they're vegetarian. Shh. Alright pals, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. As always, I really appreciate you being here and giving the channel some love. And once again, if you have any stories you'd like to share, spooky or otherwise, you can either email me or there's links in the description. And that is it, my gremlins. Take care of yourselves and each other, do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!